All right, so we got to talk about how Draymond called LeBron James the GOAT. I want y'all to go ahead and take a listen to what he had to say.
Who your top five?
My top five is LJ number one, MJ number two, Kobe number three, Steph number four, and Shaq number five.
Okay.
You got Bron first.
Yes, because what Bron has done, like when you talk about Cicely Tyson,
Yeah.
Bron started in 03. By 2005, Bron was the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
In 2020, he was still the best player in the NBA. He was the best player in the NBA no matter what the game did. The game went from two slugs, like slow big man, to like a stretch four big man, to like back to two big man, to like big man.
Me and you out there
Like,
playing the phone.
Facts.
and he's been the best no matter what. When you look at the teams that Bron has carried to championship or carried to the finals, MJ didn't beat the greatest team ever assembled, nor did he run up against the greatest team ever assembled every year. You look at the skill set that Bron has. There's nobody that has ever played the game of basketball that can do what LeBron James does on basketball court. Nobody.
All right, now I'm not going to sit up here and deny that he doesn't bring up and acknowledge some great points about why you could argue why LeBron is the GOAT. I'm just going to simply tell y'all why I don't think that is true. And I grew up as a LeBron fan. LeBron is like my all-time favorite player. I grew up watching him. Him and Dwayne Wade were always like my two favorite players. What you need to understand is that Michael Jordan's peak was so good that it has yet to have been replicated and has yet to be surpassed. People thought that Kobe, and rightfully so, rest in peace, Bean, that he was the closest to come to MJ, and they're right. That was the closest that we've seen anybody come to replicating somewhat of a perfect career that MJ had. And some people that I've spoken to in terms of basketball knowledge, they feel like Kobe has surpassed MJ in certain terms, and they feel like he is actually the GOAT. I don't feel that neither of them have surpassed MJ because, again, his peak is just so damn dominant. It's like you can't, like that's a pretty high bar. And I'm not going to say that Kobe and LeBron didn't come close. They for sure did. But because of what he did in such a short amount of time, like, you have to understand, this man won 3 straight championships, retired from the game for like a couple of years. I think it was like 2-3 years. He came back and then he won 3 more championships straight. He did 2 3-peats. Like, do y'all understand like how crazy good you have to be at the game of basketball in order to do that? There's over like 6 billion people on this planet. There's only like about over 400 plus, maybe a little bit less than that, players in the NBA. Like, when this man is like the top, like the best of the best people get to play at this level, and he did it for such, I'm not even gonna say a short amount of time. Over a decade is a long time, but he did all of this in such a short amount of time. What people try to credit LeBron to, and it is credit to him, is the longevity that he has sustained throughout his career. But what people need to understand is that Michael Jordan didn't even play 20 years in the NBA, and he accomplished all the things that he accomplished. Like, people need to recognize and understand that that sort of excellence is just crazy. He was way too dominant, and that's exactly why I feel LeBron is not the GOAT over MJ. And it's no shade to LeBron, because, you know, he came in, his team wasn't that great. We all know the reasons why Cleveland was such a failed experiment, if you will. He didn't really have much help, and then he had to go get the help. Now, I, for one, it's like I'm like stuck in the middle, because I, for one, believe that if you truly are that great, you rise above it, and then you overcome whatever obstacle is in your way. But then again, with that being said, it's like I also don't think that you should go chase and go run to another team with another star and then build something over there to go win it. Now, obviously, winning a championship is very hard, so I'm not going to sit up here and criticize him for necessarily doing that, because he built teams from the ground up. Like, each team that he went to, they were losing. They had losing records, and then he made them into championship contenders simply just by being there. Like, that sort of excellence has to also be complimented, and it has to be revered. And it is credit to LeBron's greatness as well. Like, he won championships on 4 different teams, but at the same time, I really do wish that he would have just stayed with one team, because I really feel like that would have, shot up his legacy. But at the same time, you could also say that him winning with 4 different situations on losing teams with losing records could also be, somewhat of a great thing. And, and that could also boost up his legacy. And I do feel like in some way it did. But at the same time, it's like, again, LeBron, at the end of the day, because of his longevity, is the only reason why he's even compared to MJ. MJ, I mean, it's I'm not gonna say it's not a fair comparison. At the end of the day, if people was to say that LeBron is the GOAT over MJ, I'm not gonna sit up here and lose sleep over it, because you could very well make that argument. The man has done a lot, just like Draymond has hinted at. In terms of carrying a team, we haven't seen nobody carry as much as LeBron has. He's been tasked to do so much over the years, and that's why you could make the argument. But in terms of my opinion, I feel like MJ's peak was just far too dominant. He literally won a scoring title while he was age 35. Do you know how crazy that is? He won a scoring title at the age of 35. Like, it's ridiculous. His dominance over the league, his infamous ways, his attitude, his demeanor, everybody wanted to be like Mike. They had literally commercials of it. Literally everybody has tried to be like Mike at some point. He is idolized, he is revered, he's damn near universally recognized as the GOAT. I need people to understand that when this guy came into the league, they called him Black Jesus. They called him Jesus with sneakers. Like, he was so great that and mind you, this was before he even started winning titles. He was already being revered as this god before he even started winning championships. Once he got Scottie Pippen, it was over for after that. Nobody could even talk shit anymore. But that's the main reason why I feel like his case for being the GOAT will forever be just that. Obviously, you can go with LeBron, you can go with Kareem, you can go with Wilt, Bill, you know what I'm saying? You can even go with Kobe. Rest in peace again, Bean. But yeah, like, I mean, that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think and who y'all think is the GOAT. This conversation is obviously never gonna die. People for ages to come is going to forever debate who is the greatest between LeBron and Jordan. And who knows, there might even come another player at some point that's gonna join that conversation. As well as, with Kobe and Bill Russell, and rest in peace to you too, Bill, and Kareem, you know what I'm saying? Like, that, it's always going to be a non-stop conversation. But y'all let me know who y'all think is the GOAT.